Hi, I'm Mama Ruby, and this is Three Pink Chairs on the Queenie Network.
I'm Monica, and you're watching Three Pink Chairs on the Queenie Network.
All right, we are back with another episode of Three Pink Chairs. I have Monica, returning guest, and a super special guest, my mom, Mama Ruby. And we're going to talk about, again, some of my favorite topics and learn a little more and get some more perspectives. Are y'all ready? Ready? Okay, so my first question is, why is marriage important in our culture?
Why is marriage important in our culture? Well,
Yes.
I think that it's usually a foundation for our community. That you find that when you have married couples, that you tend to have a stronger, healthier community. And also, I think that especially when you start bringing children into the world, that it's important that they feel secure and confident. And I think that a healthy marriage helps them to develop that.
Yeah?
Definitely agree. When it comes down to generations and generations and generations back then, it kind of slowed down a bit, and then you start seeing the single parent, and that became more so prominent and normal in our community. And I really feel like bringing that vision that it's okay for us to be married and stick in there, hang in there, it needs to be seen more often in our community.
Absolutely.
And it's hard. It's hard raising, children with one parent.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard on the children, and it's also
hard on the parent,
and it's very hard on the parent to do it. So I think that marriage gives us that extra support we really need to bring healthy children into the world.
Right.
And as you saw the decline of marriage, you saw more issues with children in terms of their health, their mental health, their physical health, their confidence. Their educational levels dropped when we saw the decrease in marriage. So I think that, like I said in the beginning, it's really important for our community to have healthy marriages.
I agree with that decline. It's like they begin to see that as the normal. Like, I seen my mama do it all. Why can't you do it all?
Yeah, and then it becomes a chain reaction. And you've been married for how long?
8 years now.
8 years?
32.
32. Okay. So what are some important things to consider before getting married?
Ooh. Well, I think that, having similar values, you don't have to have exactly the same values. And the one thing that I've noticed over those 32 years is that it changes. So that, when the things that are important when you first get together, they change over time. And then when you have children, they change again. And as you get older, they change again. Mm-hmm. It's like, so when we first got together, it was, the attraction, the getting to know each other, being together all the time, and figuring out what we really wanted, what we expected. And I think that once you figure, well, going back, even it's more about what you want.
Right.
Figuring out what you want and who you are as a person.
And sometimes you don't even know that.
Yes.
When you initially get into a relationship. You're still kind of figuring that out, especially like the younger you are. That's why you have more relationships that don't necessarily lead to marriage, because as you start to grow and evolve, you're like, we're really not on the same page, right? What are some things you think are important to consider before marriage?
Well, leading up to that point, I really had to understand me and my wants first before I can take time to understand another human being's wants and needs. So I did have to find those things out. I was pretty young, but I had been through enough to know this is what I wanted to do. I don't just want to live life just playing games. Let's go ahead and lock this in and begin to build our empire. So that's the way I looked at it. I needed a business partner, not just a intimate partner.
Right. I agree. Well, you said business, so that brings me to my hot pink question. Don't think you were excluded from the hot pink question. You still get a hot pink question. Okay. The hot pink question is, do you think women often prioritize education over marriage?
Education over marriage.
I'd say yes. A lot of our newer generation, they're very strong and headstrong, and they want to make sure that they have their foundation built before they move on to the connecting and the marriage. But a lot of people forget you can get married with your partner and continue to build those things together. It's not just always, I need to do this, this, and this before. Let's do it together.
And I will say for me, I've always wanted an education, and I didn't really feel that it would stop me from having a relationship. But as I get older, you realize that you only have so much attention to give. And then I had a child at a really young age. So then I'm like, okay, I have a child. I'm a single parent. I do want an education. And then I'm like, oh, dang, I do want to get married too. So when am I going to focus on that? You know, and it doesn't really hit you until you do get older and you're like, okay, so you have to kind of prioritize and not necessarily put a relationship before your education, but like you said, kind of figure out how that can fit into your life. Mom, what do you think?
I think that society puts a lot more pressure on education than is necessary, and that education is not just in college or in academia.
It's
education
experience,
is experience, and it is relationships, it is travel, it is all the things that make up who we are. And so I think that, you know, you certainly don't have to choose one over the other. That you can certainly
that's true.
You can certainly have both, and that you know, that education, first of all, especially academia, is not for everybody, and that we you know, pressure our young people that, you know, they have to go to college,
get a degree.
they have to get a degree, and sometimes we find that, you know, they get that degree and they're still not happy and they're still not successful. So I think that, you know, we have to really consider the individual and what's really healthy and good for them. And I was just talking to your dad, in fact, about some of the most successful people are some of the most unhappy people. And so that we shouldn't just, you know, burden our young people with saying, this is what you have to do to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, now we're seeing that, you know, there's a lot more people who are starting their own business, who are making those, who are putting off education and maybe traveling instead of going straight to college. So
focusing
you know,
on happiness instead of more so success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Health.
Right.
Because health is wealth.
Yes. Oh,
Love it.
love the way that you wrap that up. That was a great discussion. I love that. Y'all stay tuned for yet another episode of Three Pink Chairs.